You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report episode number 190.1, our daily update for high school, college, and professional sports news in Central Indiana, with a little bit of major national sports news, anything that might be of interest to Central Indiana sports fans.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, thank you for spending part of your day with us. Today is February 28th, 2025. It is a Friday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt. I love Central Indiana sports. I am coming to you today from Madison Grant High School. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Coming up, we had a couple of CIC boys basketball teams in action on Thursday. IU and Purdue's women both had games on Thursday evening. Plus, we have some college swimming and volleyball results. And I'll look ahead to a busy Friday. But before we get to that, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report. We are easy to find. Taylor held off Alexandria 50-47 in both teams' regular season finale. It is the 16th win of the season for the Titans. Taylor Jr. Dre McClatchy had a game-high 19 points, and his classmate Javon Harris finished with 16 points and 13 rebounds. That guy is a rebounding machine. The 7-16 Tigers were led by sophomore Bryson Eckler once again. He finished with 14 points and 7 rebounds, according to the Herald Bulletin's Rob Hunt. Alexandria's only senior, Carson Hall, scored 11 of his 13 points in the second half. Blackford won its 14th game of the season with a 63-29 win over Burris in its regular season finale Thursday. Freshman Mari Leggett led the Bruins with 20 points. Jacob Lease had 12 and Gage Baker 11 for Blackford. Regionally in boys basketball, Lawrence Central beat Southport 73-55. Shelbyville edged Batesville 63-59. West Lafayette beat Rossville 71-47. And Julius Jeezy became New Pal's all-time leading scorer, passing his sister Isabella with 1,676 points for the fourth-ranked Dragons, who beat Warren Central 67-60 in overtime. Jeezy, a definite Indiana All-Star, one of the best players in the entire state, finished with 30 points in the win. In women's college basketball, 19th-ranked Maryland pulled away from IU for a 74-60 victory in Bloomington on the Hoosiers senior night. The Hoosiers were led by 18 points from junior Yarden Garzone, 15 from junior Shea Seesky, 13 from senior Sydney Parrish in her final home game, 10 from senior Caroline Striplin in her final home game as a Hoosier, and the other senior Chloe Moore McNeil had 4 points and a game-high 10 assists. Maryland senior Cheyenne Sellers scored 21 of her game-high 25 points in the fourth quarter. IU is now 17-11 overall and 9-8 in the Big Ten and closes its regular season Sunday at 2 o'clock at Purdue. I spoke with Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader sports editor Michelle Garman, who was at the game, and got her thoughts on the Hoosiers' loss. And we discussed the Purdue game and the Big Ten tournament. Speaking of the Boilermakers, they won their third Big Ten game of the season Thursday with a 92-85 win over Penn State. It's Purdue's first road win since beating Miami of Ohio on December 17th. Rashonda Jones had 32 points in the win. She was 11 for 21 from the field and a perfect 9 for 9 at the foul line. Freshman Sophie Swanson had 29 points off the Purdue bench. She was 10 for 13 from the field. Purdue shot 53% for the game. Penn State senior Gabby Elliott also had 32 points in the Nittany Lions loss. Ball State volleyball earned a 5-set victory over Ohio State Thursday at Worthen Arena. The Cardinals dropped the first set before winning the second and third. Ohio State then forced a fifth set with a 25-15 win in the fourth. Ball State trailed 9-8 in the fifth and decisive set before back-to-back kills by Patrick Rogers gave the Cardinals a 10-9 lead. It was 10-10 when kills by Raji Aline, Stanislaw Shashinsky, and Rogers gave the Cardinals the lead for good. Leading 14-12, Ryan Bart's kill clinched the win. Rogers led the Cardinals with 18 kills. In the men's Big Ten swimming championships in Minneapolis, IU had multiple champions on Thursday. Junior Zaylin Sarkani won the day's first final, going 4:11.62 in the 500 freestyle. Next, junior Owen McDonald set a new Big Ten record in winning the 200 IM in 1:39.89. The Hoosiers also took first and third in the 1-meter diving competition with Quinn Henninger and Carson Tyler. The Big Ten championships continue Friday with the finals in the 100 butterfly, the 400 IM, the 200 freestyle, the 100 backstroke, 100 breaststroke, 3-meter diving, and the 400 medley relay. Ball State junior Peyton Kelly finished third in the 50 freestyle at the MAC championships in Buffalo. She swam 23:45, just 0.22 behind Ohio champion Zeta Zoke. Ball State is fifth in the standings after 2 days. Akron is 36 points ahead of Buffalo in second. Ohio and Miami are third and fourth. Friday's finals are the 100 butterfly, the 400 IM, the 200 free, the 100 backstroke, the 100 breaststroke, and the 200 freestyle relay. In the G League, former Purdue star Dakota Mathias scored 32 points, but it wasn't enough for the Mad Hands in a 110-100 loss at San Diego. The Ants are now 14-9, tied for second in the G League East with the Westchester Knicks, a game behind league-leading Capital City. Taylor Baseball's conference opener against Grace was rained out Thursday. The Trojans and Lancers will play Friday twice, weather permitting, and twice more Monday. Game 1 is scheduled for noon, and Game 3 is at 3 o'clock on both days. Looking ahead to Friday, we start with our boys basketball sectional. All games that I'm about to read you start at 6 p.m. with the JV, with the varsity to follow. In the CIC, 14-8 Frankton goes to 4-16 Blue River and will put its 10-game winning streak on the line. 5-15 Daleville's at 10-11 Madison Grant. The Argyles have won 4 of their last 5 and 5 of their last 7. 9-12 Morristown is at 5-16 Elwood. 14-6 Delta goes to 15-6 Oak Hill in the Central Indiana Sports Report game of the night. Class 2A number 4 Manchester is 19-2, and they go to Mississinewa to face the 9-12 Indians. And 13-8 Eastbrook is at 6-14 South Adams. It's the regular season finale for every one of the CIC teams except for Elwood, which plays Saturday against Knox at 3. In the Hoosier Conference, it's 8-14 Logansport at 9-13 Benton Central. And 9-13 Lafayette Central Catholic goes to 4-17 Lewis Cass. In the Hoosier Heartland, it's Northfield at Tri-Central. Northfield is 9-12 and has lost 3 straight. Tri-Central is 8-13 and has also lost 3 straight. Class A number 10 Carroll is at Eastern. Carroll is 17-4 and has won 4 in a row. Eastern is 10-11 and has won 4 of its last 5. 15-5 Sheridan goes to 11-10 Waldron. 14-8 Delphi is at 2-20 Frankfort. And 1-20 Clinton Central visits 14-7 Frontier. In the North Central Conference, Muncie Central faces former conference rival Newcastle. Muncie Central is 7-15 and just ended a 6-game losing streak with a big win at Pendleton on Saturday. Newcastle has lost 4 in a row. 15-7 Kokomo hasn't won in a couple weeks and needs one at Huntington North, which is 10-12. 11-10 Marion has won 5 of its last 7 and goes to 13-9 Fort Wayne Snyder, which has won 3 straight and 5 of its last 6 and will be a serious sectional contender. In the Hoosier Heritage, along with Delta and Oak Hill, 6-15 Yorktown visits 4A number 15 Mount Vernon, which is 16-5. In the Three Rivers Conference, 16-4 Rochester goes to 16-5 Maconaquah. Maconaquah can tie Manchester for the Three Rivers Conference Championship with a win. A couple of former CIC teams, 9-12 Peru is at 0-21 Wabash. In the Mideastern Conference, 2A number 1 Wapahani goes to Shenandoah for a conference championship game. Wapahani's already clinched a tie for the conference, but Wapahani can clinch its share of the conference championship with an upset of the Raiders. Also in the Mideastern, 1-19 Southern Wells visits 6-14 Cowan. 13-8 Eastern Hancock's at 9-11 Hagerstown. And 14-6 Monroe Central visits 6-15 Randolph Southern. In the Pioneer Conference, Anderson Prep looks for its 8th straight victory. The Jets are 17-5. Coming into this year, their all-time record for wins in a season was 6. They've currently won more games in a row than that. They visit 10-12 Southwestern in a big test on Friday. The state finals get underway in boys swimming Friday with the prelims. Our top local swimmer is Yorktown senior Henry Coe, who is the 6th seed in the 100 butterfly and the 11th seed in the 200 freestyle. The top 16 return on Saturday for the finals. The top 8 in the prelims advance to the state championship finals. Delta senior Zach Beatty is seated 23rd in the 200 IM and 26th in the 500 free. Burris Jr. Oliver Mooring is the 33rd seed in the 50 free. He finished 31st last year. And Oak Hill Jr. Evan Bledsoe is seated 19th in the 100 breaststroke. Speaking of Oak Hill, on Saturday morning, Golden Eagle senior Grant Cates begins his quest for the 1-meter diving state championship. He is the favorite heading into the finals after finishing 3rd the last 2 years. Both divers who finished ahead of him the last 2 years, both from Hamilton Heights, have graduated. Carmel is expected to win its 11th consecutive state championship. Also on Friday, the Pacers are at Miami at 8 o'clock. Indiana has won 4 of its last 5. Miami is 2-6 in its last 8 games, including a 131-109 victory over Atlanta on Wednesday. In men's college basketball, 20th ranked Purdue has lost 4 straight and hosts UCLA on Friday. That game can be seen on Fox. UCLA is 20-8 overall. Both teams are 11-6 in the Big Ten and headed to the NCAA tournament. Indiana Wesleyan plays 6th ranked and Crossroads regular season champion Grace in Friday's conference tournament semifinal at Winona Lake. Grace beat the Wildcats 93-83 and 89-75 in the regular season. That game is scheduled for 7. Huntington is at Bethel in the other semifinal. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you so much for listening. Please go like, subscribe, or follow us at SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and at YouTube so you don't miss a single segment. And if you really want to help us out and make sure that we thrive, please tell your friends about the Central Indiana Sports Report. Copy and paste the link to this episode and send it along. It'd be really appreciated. Don't forget that our daily report comes out every day at 1 o'clock. Please join us every day. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.